So I did a story last week where I talked about the drone strike from the Biden White House and from Mark Milley, General Mark Milley, which killed a family of 10. And this guy that they killed, the father, the patriarch of this family, this guy was actually like an aid worker, like a U.S. He was working like with the U.S. and the West, and he was providing aid to people in Afghanistan. And the family actually made an application to seek refugee status and to move to the United States. But the Biden White House decided that it was better to drone them because they wanted to show that they were actually doing something after the debacle in Afghanistan and the Kabul airport terrorist strike from the Special K. Right, so the Special K hits Kabul airport, 13 Marines dead, hundreds injured. It really just showcased the incompetence of the Biden pullout from Afghanistan. But Biden and his military chiefs, I guess they decided, you know what, we have to do something to try and pull a fast one on the American people. And so what they thought up was, let's put out the narrative that we're going to take out a Special K facilitator and a planner, right? So those were the words they used. Moderate rebels, like Obama would say, moderate rebels. This time they came out with the terms planner and facilitator, the script writers in the White House. And so they had two drone strikes. One drone strike supposedly took out a planner and facilitator, and then the next drone strike took out a car that they said was actually being loaded with explosives. Well, it was not being loaded with explosives. It was being loaded with water bottles and laptops and stuff like that. And one of the comments when I did that video, by the way, on a side note, one of the people said, I wonder if Hunter's laptop was being loaded up in that car and that's why they droned it. It was a pretty clever comment, actually. But yeah, Hunter's famous laptop. But anyway, it was a terrible move, a terrible story to report on. And in a perfect world, in a just world, I don't want to say a perfect world, in a just world, these gentlemen that committed this drone strike would be brought up on war crimes charges, including the man at the top. But this is not a just world. This is far from a perfect world. And no one's going to face any repercussions. As a matter of fact, the exact opposite is coming out of the Pentagon. And the title from RT says, Pentagon insists the Kabul drone strike that killed children and aid worker was about preventing an imminent attack. That's what they use, the word an imminent attack. So in other words, the Pentagon is doubling down. They're saying, you know what? We don't care what. Oh, and the story was broken by the New York Times. RT had reported about it a week earlier, but the New York Times actually came out with the receipts. I mean, they had video footage and they time-stamped everything. And they really dotted their I's and crossed their T's when they exposed the story. And it's interesting to have seen the New York Times go after the Biden White House. That's very revealing that they go after Biden and General Milley. But anyway, they're doubling down and they're saying, you know what? We did what we did because we continue to claim that this car that they just bombed the crap out of and killed everybody in and around that car was going to be used for another terrorist strike, right? They're sticking with that story. So the U.S. military, this is coming from the RT article, the U.S. military claimed to have killed 3 suspected members of the Special K terrorist group in Nangarhar province on the 27th of August. That was the first strike. And a Special K facilitator in Kabul on August 29th. So the first strike was in reprisal for the August 26th bombing at the Kabul airport, for which the Special K claimed responsibility. The second one was the car bomb, and that's the one that got the family. What the family would do when the father would come home every afternoon, all the kids would surround the car, and he would let the kids drive the car into the driveway, and, well, the Pentagon droned it. And they had experts, the New York Times had experts look at the crime scenes, look at the bomb scenes, And the experts said that this was just one Hellfire missiles, because the Pentagon came out and said, well, when we hit the car, then the car also had explosives and it exploded as well. So that's proof that there was a bomb in the car. The experts came out and said, judging from the photos and the videos, there was one Hellfire missile. That's it. So they debunked that Pentagon lie. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said he could not confirm the identities of anyone killed in the strikes, right? We don't know the names of these planners and facilitators. We do know the name of the family, though, that was killed. Kirby also said that he could not explain how the military was investigating the second strike without any presence on the ground, right? They're investigating things, but there's no one on the ground. They say that all the time. We're investigating everything, but there's no one on the ground to investigate. So how are you investigating? Anyway, here's the video. I'll play the video right now of Kirby. He says, I can't confirm who we killed in the drone strike, but the strike was taken to prevent an imminent attack on the airport. As I said, doubling down. Doubling down, right? The strike was taken to prevent an imminent attack on the airport. The assessment by the Central Command, CENTCOM, is ongoing, and I'm not going to get ahead of that. The strike was taken to prevent an imminent attack on the airport, Kirby said, refusing to elaborate further. Here's the video of Kirby.
Questions about the drone strike. Are you able to confirm, or will you be able to confirm at any point, the people's names or identities of those killed in the two drone strikes targeting alleged ISIS militants in the last days before the withdrawal was complete? Thanks.
Hey, Phil, thanks. What I can say is I cannot confirm them at this time.
And is there any time in the future that you'll be able to do that?
I just can't confirm them at this time, Phil. I think I need to leave it there.
So I was going to actually follow up on that question. John, in previous briefings, I asked you if you have the name of the ISIS operative that you killed in the drone strikes, and you said it's not the appropriate time to disclose this. Now the New York Times has revealed something that is incredible, that the strike was actually targeted a aid worker. Why is it not the appropriate time to disclose? Or is it?
Well, Phil was asking about I think Phil was asking about the strikes we took on the 27th of August, and I'm not able to confirm the identities of the ISIS individuals that were targeted in those strikes.
And also on this missile, the missiles and then the pause in the flights, the 7-day extension. When did it start?
Today.
Today, from today.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you.
Yeah, Trace.
Hi, John. Thank you. I actually have two questions. So the first, piggybacking off of what he had just asked as far as this New York Times report, stating that it was actually a civilian that may have been killed and that vehicle may not have been carrying any explosives at all. First and foremost, what is your response to these articles that were written? And then also, if there's no longer any military on the ground, how is this investigation being conducted into the incident?
Yeah, so I would say that the assessment by Central Command is ongoing, and I'm not going to get ahead of that. The strike was taken to prevent an imminent attack on the airport.
All right, and so to end this video, I just want to say that the man and his family that were killed by this criminal act, this was a criminal act, was Zamari Ahmadi, who worked for a U.S.-backed food aid charity for the past 14 years. He was coming back from work and carrying bottles of water in his trunk, not explosives, as CENTCOM claimed. Not explosives, as CENTCOM claimed. No traces of secondary explosions were found in the courtyard where the car had been parked and struck with a Hellfire missile, according to the New York Times. So Kirby is lying once again. The Pentagon is just doubling down, and they're just saying, you know what? Whatever. We're going to stick with our story. F everybody. This is what we say happened. We don't care. There is going to be no one held accountable for this. No one. No one's going to resign. No one's going to be investigated. No one's going to be taken to trial. None of that stuff. A family of 10 killed. Anyway, that's the update that I wanted to do for you guys on this story. A sad story. Very sad. Sad story and an infuriating story too at that. But we'll leave it there. TheDuran.locals.com. Please join us on Locals. You'll find a link down below. All kinds of great content going on Locals. Please go to the new media platforms where you'll find Alexander's videos, my videos, the Duran's videos on Rumble, BitChute, ODYSEE, Super U. And you'll find those links down below. And definitely buy a shirt from the Duran shop or a hat. Here's my hat. This is my Switzerland hat. Right, embroidered Switzerland hat right there. With the golden double-headed eagle, the flag of Switzerland. You'll find that at the Duran shop, 10% off when you use the code REALNEWS. Take care.